صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. To hasten the reappearance of our 12th Imam, صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا رسول الله. صلى الله عليك وعلى آل بيتك المعصومين المظلومين. لعن الله الظالمين لكم من الأولين والآخرين. ما خاب من تمسك بكم وأمن من لجأ إليكم سادتي، فيا ليتنا ثم يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز فوزا عظيما. Khadija was the best of the Prophet's wives. Let her be pleased with what Allah has stored for her. Perhaps neither I nor others may remember how much he generously gave in secret and in public. May my soul be sacrificed for her. How many gifts that pure lady showered Islam with. She believed in the Prophet. She was the first Muslimah. A high rank is hers, unlike others. Enough of an honor and pride for her was that she was made the mother of Zahra. Of Zahra, and the grandmother of the pure Imams, the 11, from the pure Mujtaba to the awaited Muntadha. Ya Muntadhar, she bore the pains of hunger and its misery, even though she was of peerless nobility. Peerless nobility. Oh, time hastened to mourning with tears, for the heart of Mustafa was struck with pain as she left behind a young girl who became a stranger, who was afflicted with calamities in the midst of her clan. Who was this daughter? Who was this girl? Zahra did not get enough of her mother's love. In her childhood was orphaned at such an age. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. قال الله تعالى في محكم كتابه العزيز: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ قلنا للملائكة اسجدوا لآدم فسجدوا إلا إبليس أبى واستكبر وكان من الكافرين. To hasten the reappearance of our twelfth Imam, perfume your mouths with the loud salawat ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. I turn towards the presence of our twelfth Imam, Ajralallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, and giving him and extending to him the warmest of condolences on the passing away of his grandmother, Sayyidah Khadija, Salamullahi alayha, to whom we are all indebted today, as Islam and our Islam is her sadaqah jariyah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran, He talks of many different events that are related to this earth and even before this earth. The first mention of the history of humanity as a new race is from this point when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the angels to prostrate before Adam salamullahi alayhi. Upon that, the first conflict arose between certain interests that an individual had. Iblis, in face of his creator, the values that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had, and he wanted the angels to learn. Iblis and his story did not only stop at that. This conflict of interest that Iblis had, that he was constantly trying to sway human beings from the path of al-mustaqim, on the right path, it continued from the time of Adam and Hawa alayhi salam towards Qabil and Habil, and it continuously is present in the mention of history, where he would sometimes appear to some of the tyrants like Namrud and Fir'aun alayhim la'inullah. Iblis, he was stubborn. Our Imams alayhim salam mentioned that the first person to undertake qiyas, analogy, was Iblis. When he refused to prostrate before Adam salamullahi alayhi, there were a few things that he had in mind. First of all, he considered himself to be better than Adam. خَلَقْتَنِي مِنْ نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِنْ طِينٍ, that you created me from fire and you created him from clay. So that means to say that fire is better than clay. I am better than him. So that was the first thing. Secondly, the fact that you, Allah, ma'adallah, you do not have the authority to order something that is better, in his opinion, to do prostration in front of something that is less in worth, according again to his understanding. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he responded to him, what did he initially try to convey in terms of the message? That firstly, who told you that fire is better than clay? Who told you? Especially considering the fact that I have cast in him my spirit. So that's the first point. Secondly, who told you that I do not have the authority to ask one of my creations to prostrate in front of another, to be subservient to another? This is my authority as the Mawla, the Lord. Upon that, we need to ask that the Holy Quran, with concerning this conflict of values and interests. What does the Holy Quran present to us in terms of a sociological discourse? What does it tell us? Firstly, the Holy Quran, it talks about the development of human society. Interests and values, they go together with the level of development and maturity of the mentality of the human civilization. So in the beginning, there was no such thing as trade, because there was only Adam alayhi salam and his children. So whatever they would grow, whatever they would farm, etc., they would use. Slowly, slowly, that congregation of human beings, it increased in number. So now you had a new and different forms of relations between humans, between each other. As a result, interests, new forms of interest arose, and new forms of values developed. Those values that are always there, values of being a righteous person, obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they started to grow more as well. Why? Because now, with the sending of other prophets as well, Sheikh alayhi salam and others, now there are new responsibilities, new wajibat that I have to carry out. So the Holy Quran, it mentions the development of the human society in approximately 8 different stages, and it talks about how values and interests developed during this period of a few thousand years. Secondly, the Holy Quran, it gives examples of people who embodied their own interests, their own material desires and gains and wants. And on the other end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would always send people who would embody His values that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala considered to be important and necessary for a human being to hold to. And these were in forms of prophets and certain awliya. So to mention some of the people of interest, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He talks about the trio of Qarun, Haman, and Fir'aun. He talks about Namrud, Abu Lahab, and others. On the other end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about many of the prophets, among them especially the Anbiya and the prophets of Ulul Azm. Nabi Nuh alayhi salam, who especially strived against his qawm and he faced a lot of challenges. Nabi Ibrahim salamullah, who was mentioned extensively. Nabi Musa salamullah, whose story is maybe one of the most, or maybe the most mentioned story in the Holy Quran. Nabi Isa, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alim, Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and also among the women, Asiya bint Muzahim, the wife of Pharaoh, and Maryam bint Imran. So all of these are mentioned in the Holy Quran as examples. We have to study them, we have to learn, we have to see what the context of the ayat is. Like we have been mentioning in the sessions concerning, that we mentioned in the session concerning tadabbur and contemplating over the Holy Quran. Fourthly or thirdly, the Holy Quran, it explains the different forms of conflict that can be. A conflict between values and interest. It can be social, it can be economical, sometimes it can be religious, it can be etc. etc. It has so many different forms. The Holy Quran also then gave us examples of certain conflicts. For example, the conflict between Tawheed and Shirk. This is a continuous, a repetitive theme that has been mentioned in the Holy Quran. I'm mentioning this as an introduction that will lead me to my discussion considering two main examples of interests and of values. Of interest in the Holy Quran, Qarun and Sayyidah Khadija salamullahi alayha, as an example of values. So, coming back to the different examples that the Holy Quran gives in terms of conflicts between values and interests. We had Tawheed and Shirk, Jahiliyyah and Islam. This was one. Servitude under Fir'aun and freedom under Musa, salamullahi alayhi, etc. Finally, that which applies to us, we need to learn from the effects, what the end result of each and every one of these conflicts that Allah mentioned in the Holy Quran as examples to us. We need to learn and to look at the end results, the effects of what it led to, in order to apply in our own lives. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So I will start with the chronological order. Who came first? Qarun came first, 1300, approximately 350 BC, during the time of Musa salamullahi alayhi. In the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions Qarun 4 times by name. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Inna Qaruna kana min qawmi Musa. فبغى عليهم وآتيناه من الكنوز ما إن مفاتحه لتنوء بالعصبة أولي القوة إذ قال له قومه لا تفرح إن الله لا يحب الفرحين. Qarun belonged to the clan of Moses, so he was from Bani Israel. He was a Hebrew, he was an Israelite. But he oppressed them. We had given him treasures, the keys of which would weigh down on a group of men, strong men. The keys themselves were so heavy that there would require a group of strong men to carry just the keys of his different, the places and his storerooms of cash and of his treasures. So his people, they told him, do not exult and do not be proud of yourself. God does not love the exultant. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to Qarun as a baghi min al-bughat, bagha ala qawmi. Bagha ala qawmi, that means that he was a tyrant. A tyrant in the sense that this word bagha means someone who seeks to make himself higher than his people, to have weight over his people, to have control, more influence, to be better than them. Al-ulu. How did he make this money? Qarun, according to the different opinions of the Mufassirin, Sheikh Nasir Makarim al-Shiraz in Tafsir al-Amthal, he says that there are certain theories considering how he came to get so much money that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says just the keys of his rooms and of his that had his treasures, they were so heavy. One opinion that is mentioned by Sheikh Nasir Makarim al-Shirazi is the fact that he was taught alchemy by Musa salamullahi alayhi. This was a science until alchemy was separated from chemistry during the time of Jabir bin Hayyan, one of the companions of Imam as-Sadiq salamullahi alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. However, this was a science, this was a form of knowledge that was present, and many people, they benefited from it. And Fidda salamullahi alayha, the khadim and the servant of Imam alayhi salam, Sayyidah Fatima, she also had this knowledge. Alchemy is the science and the principle of turning valueless things into gold, silver, etc. So this was one opinion, that Nabi Musa salamullahi alayhi taught him this. Second opinion is the opinion that Musa's sister had this science, but she taught him this science. The third, and which is more, in my opinion, which is more sound, is the fact that Fir'aun, what he did, he chose someone from Banu Israel. This person was to be a representative of Fir'aun. He would take capital and money from Banu Israel and invest it. Whatever profits would come, Fir'aun would keep his own share. Qarun would keep his share. Maybe some remainder was given to Banu Israel. So in essence, he was an embezzler. He was stealing money from his own people. Fir'aun, what he wanted to do is that he was choosing somebody from his own people, from the people of Banu Israel, in order to humiliate them. This person would strive to strengthen the foundations of Fir'aun's rule, because where there is money in the treasury, that state or that country will become stronger. One of the extremely notable facts is the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He mentions that He sent Musa, He does not in one of the verses say that He only sent him to Fir'aun. Look at this verse, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا مُوسَى بِآيَاتِنَا وَسُلْطَانٍ مُبِينٍ. And we sent Moses with our signs and a clear authority. إِلَى فِرْعَوْنَ وَهَامَانَ وَقَارُونَ. That we sent him to Pharaoh, to Haman his vizier, and to Qarun his treasure keeper. فَقَالُوا سَاحِرٌ كَذَّابٌ. To them three. And in their council, all three of them said that Musa salamullahi alayhi is a magician. And then they plotted, all of them, that kill their sons and keep their women folk alive, etc. So from the beginning, Qarun was sent to the three. Now, Qarun, like I mentioned, then he was a tool that Fir'aun was using. At that, the form of conflict. Now, what was the form of conflict? I mentioned that it can be religious, it can be social, it can be economical, political, etc., etc. Fir'aun or Harun in particular, he formed, first of all, he was in a direct religious conflict with Musa salamullahi alayhi. He said, Sahirun kadhab, that look at this person, he's a magician, he's a liar. Secondly, there was an economical conflict. Why? Qarun was trying to instigate that inferiority complex in Bani Israel. The fact that he who has money, he is the person who is better. He is better. The person who has money, he can do anything. And also, he was trying to set a practice that it is okay if you want to reach, if you want money, it is okay even to oppress your own people. What was the result of this conflict between Musa salamullahi alayhi and Qarun? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, خسفنا به وبداره الأرض فما كان له من فئة ينصرونه من دون الله وما كان من المنتصرين. That we caused the earth to cave in on him. Cave in on him. It took him, it swallowed him, and his mansion, and his entire palace. Everything by the order of Musa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him that power to Musa sallallahu alayhi. He had nobody to save him. Yani Qarun had nobody to save him from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he could not defend himself. This was the result of this conflict. Let us look at Sayyidah Khadija salamullahi alayhi. Sayyidah Khadija, to mention some of her biography for Tabarruk, Khadija bint Khuwaylid, her father's name was Khuwaylid, her mother's name was Fatima. Fatima bin Zaida bin al-Asam. Normally it's not very known. So she was the mother of Fatima, and her mother's name was also Fatima. She was the wife of the Holy Prophet and the grandmother of all the Imams alayhim salam, except for Imam Ali salamullahi alayhi. One of the misunderstandings is the fact that there is a narration that normally our brothers Ahl Sunnah they narrate, considering the fact that her age when she got married, she was 40, and we unfortunately in our syllabus we put it as an accepted fact that she was 40 when she got married. No. There are other narrations which are as strong as that or even more stronger, according to our Shia sources, that she was approximately between 25 to 28 when she got married to the Holy Prophet. So she was between 25 to 28, and this is the stronger opinion, and she was not 40. Again, amongst her children, according to some historians, they said that amongst her children was Sayyidah Zahra salamullahi alayha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. And Al-Qasim. He was also a son of hers. She was strong in will. She was a person who was very, very wise. She was at the same time very righteous, pious, had the best of manners with the Holy Prophet. Even though she had a lot of money, she was considered to be the princess of Arabia, but she would listen to her husband. Fortunately, in our society today, Alhamdulillah, Allah Azza wa Jal has blessed our sisters and our daughters with ilm and with knowledge and those opportunities. And sometimes our sisters do not understand that with this knowledge should not only be taken by itself, it also should come with the necessary akhlaq, especially in the spousal home with your husband. So I see, unfortunately, many times, "Tu su samjhe che, upan bheneli chu, bare natijai shakti, tu kon chu mane kewa." Unfortunately, and the people who are faced with the problems of trying to solve these marital problems is the likes of myself. We need some humility, like the humility of Sayyidah Khadija salamullahi alayha, whose business and whose company, limited company, was extensive, had a lot of different interests and investments, but regardless, she did not let her wealth legitimize or give her the excuse to be disrespectful to her husband. There was no single problem that the Holy Prophet faced after being sent as a prophet, except that she was always there to console him, to the extent that, and she spent all that she had, she spent it in the way of Allah and for the pleasure of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. To the extent that in one of the narrations it is said that Jibreel salamullahi alayhi descended unto the Holy Prophet and he told him that tell Khadija that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala he sends her his regards. And Jibreel alayhi salam also he brought some food for Sayyidah Khadija and glad tidings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all that she has given he has reserved for her a house made of golden threads. Baytun min qasab. And another narration from the Holy Prophet, in it he says, كُمَّلٌ مِنَ الرِّجَالِ كَثِيرٌ وَلَمْ يَكْمُلْ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ إِلَّا مَرْيَمْ وَآسِيَا امرأة فرعون وخديجة بنت خويلد وفاطمة بنت محمد. That the perfect women were Maryam, Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh, Khadija bint Khuwaylid, and Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala. Sallallahu alayhi. Her infaq and her spending in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was so much that the Holy Prophet said that there is no money that has benefited me as much as the wealth of Khadija salamullahi alayha. And with regards to the way that she would be with him, a pious wife, at the same time she would always be humble in front of him. The Holy Prophet had lot of love for Sayyidah Khadija to the extent that he considered that that love was a rizq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, was a gift from Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is of course again another issue and another discourse that can be seen in the Holy Quran, that how does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala console and comfort his prophets, and with the plural s, in face of the challenges and the calamities that they face with their people. The Holy Prophet, in very many occasions in the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He comforts him. He comforts him a lot. That do you consider that, for example, and in many different verses, like I'll come to mention, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comforts him. One of the other ways of comforting the Holy Prophet was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave this pious wife to him. A kind of rizq. That, oh Holy Prophet, don't consider yourself to be alone in this huge and important mission that you have with your people. Khadija salamullahi alayha, she's not mentioned in the Holy Quran by name. But through her actions we can come to find that she is considered to be among those people, among those women that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, like for example in the verse, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وعد الله المؤمنين والمؤمنات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises the men, the believers, men and women, rivers under which, gardens beneath which flow rivers. She was the first woman to believe in the Holy Prophet. So she was the first person. She should be the first person that is considered in this verse. Al-Ihsan that I mentioned, Al-Muhsina, she was a person who continuously used to do good, not only to that level that is required of her, not even more, and used to do it continuously. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He promises such women, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَإِن كُنتُنَّ تُرِدْنَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَالدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ أَعَدَّ لِلْمُحْسِنَاتِ مِنْكُنَّ أَجْرًا عَظِيمًا. That if you desire Allah, His Messenger, and the home of the hereafter, then Allah has promised for the righteous women, muhsinati, amongst you. Yani this was with regards to the wives of the Holy Prophet. In another verse, considering that support that she supported the Holy Prophet with, she's also referred to and mentioned again through her actions. So mention in the Holy Quran can be by name, it can be by description, man indahu ilmul kitab, he who has the knowledge of the book, or through actions. Allah says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, فَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَزَّرُوهُ وَنَصَرُوهُ. Those who believe in him, or those who believed in him and respect him and support him. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Those people are the successful. So Sayyidah Khadija salamullahi alayha, through this mention, we can come to find that she was a woman of principle. She came to see that the Holy Prophet, he has brought a message that is going to change the status quo, the situation of the Arabs of Jahiliyyah. At that, she believed in him, she saw his miracles, she said that what this person is saying is the truth. What happened to Khadija salamullahi alayha as a result of holding on to these values? This is also something that has to be seen in the verses of the Holy Quran. Ashab al-Ukhdud, the people of al-Ukhdud, yani al-Ukhdud, they're like Khandaq, yani. So these people, what happened to them? They believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they would not refuse, they would not accept to renounce their belief in Allah, to the extent that they were all burnt, all of them burnt, but they remained faithful. This is the level to which, if a person truly holds on to certain values, they should have the strong will. This is something that we need to learn. What happened to Khadija salamullahi alayha as soon as she married the Holy Prophet? The women of Quraysh would always be around her. You know those fake friends, right? Sometimes when a person has money, you will find that what they are saying, Malu. If that person falls in a certain situation, or he does something, they will start to boycott that person. You'll find that you'll see this in society. This is called hypocrisy. So they left her to the extent when the birth of Sayyidah Zahra salamullahi alayha came near, nobody was coming to aid her as a midwife. Even before that, when Khadija salamullahi alayha, when a woman is pregnant, she needs somebody to be with her. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi, maybe he was not always around. Especially for there to be a woman to be next to a woman, this is something that any woman would need. They left her alone. And that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He granted her a special gift. Sayyidah Zahra alayhi salam, the unborn child, she would speak to her. And that's why one of the titles of Sayyidah Zahra salamullahi alayha is Al-Muhadditha. When the time of the birth of Sayyidah Zahra salamullahi alayha came, what happened? When nobody came in order to be with her, in order to assist her, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent our mother Hawa salamullahi alayha with a miracle, and Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh, and Maryam bint Imran. All of them, they came and they assisted her with her birth, after which Sayyidah Zahra salamullahi alayha was born. So all of this sacrifice, it does not go without any notice from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You hold on to values in your life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always be there. Our Imam alayhi salam will always be there with me. Last salawat, please. Upon that then, Sayyidah Khadija salamullahi alayha, the conflicts, yani the forms of conflicts that she took part in, or were first of all religious. She became the first Muslim, regardless of her nobility. She showed support for her husband, regardless of the Qurashi opposition. Secondly, economic, the embargo, the boycott of the Muslims, especially of Banu Hashim. They weren't able to survive during these 3 years except with the support of Sayyidah Khadija salamullahi alayha. She would remain hungry. Sometimes the Muslims would have 2 dates amongst the family. She would remain hungry in order to help the Muslims, in order to provide for them. This continued before this boycott as well, because she freed a lot of Muslims who were slaves under tyrants and oppressors. She freed them with her money. With her money was Islam spread, and with the sword of Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And like I mentioned then, the form or the example of conflict that was during her time now, it was the Islam against Jahiliyyah. Jahiliyyah as a word, it means that age of ignorance that was immediately connected to Islam. There is some people may think that the history of Arabs starts only before Islam by during the period of Jahiliyyah. Jahiliyyah was approximately 200, 250 years approximately before the time of Islam. But there were Arabs before that, to the extent that when Nabi Ibrahim salamullahi alayhi, when he settled Hajar and Ismail alayhim assalam in Mecca, there was a clan called Jurhum. They had just arrived from Yemen, and this was approximately 1600 years before BC. 1600 BC. Approximately 2000 years before the sending of the Holy Prophet. So there were Arabs during this time. This Jahiliyyah, going back to it, it's mentioned 4 times in the Holy Quran with different notions attached to it. In one of the verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, أَفَحُكْمَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ يَبْغُونَ. Is it the laws of the time of ignorance that they desire? The laws of the time of ignorance of Jahiliyyah were full of dhulm. The strong would eat the weak. Women had no rights. With regards to immoral stuff, immoral actions, they were widely spread. This was the hukum of Jahiliyyah. In another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, يَظُنُّونَ بِاللَّهِ غَيْرَ الْحَقِّ ظَنَّ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ. They think of Allah thoughts which were untrue, thoughts of ignorance. What is actually meant is thoughts of ignorance. They did not know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala how He was. So they would base anything that they want to do, if they would say that, for example, this happened to me because of Allah, everything would be superstition. Superstition. Their namaz, their praying was whistling, according to the Holy Quran itself. They did not have anything to recite. They would whistle around the Kaaba. This is the level of intellect and understanding and ignorance that they had. In another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the moral side, the immorality that was there during the time of Jahiliyyah. Allah says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَا, especially with regards to women, وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَا تَبَرُّجَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَى. And do not display yourselves like the women used to do during the time of ignorance, during the time of Jahiliyyah. At that, Sayyidah Khadija salamullahi alayha, she stayed and stuck, she stood steadfast with the Holy Prophet salamullahi alayhi. The outcomes of this conflict, what were they? The outcomes of this conflict with the struggle of the Holy Prophet, they were able to wipe out al-Jahiliyyah. Polytheism was entirely wiped out from the Arabian Peninsula at that time. Her message was the message of rights, and that which is the truth. She was able to stand by the Holy Prophet in order to stand for the rights of those who were downtrodden. She fulfilled her responsibility in face of false and wrong. She fulfilled her responsibility. She gave and spent and sacrificed everything that she had. This is something that we need to learn. When there is a particular cause that we believe in, you have to be ready to sacrifice everything for that. This, she did it through sincerity and good actions by relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and relying on the mu'mineen. Sometimes this can be seen in life. You'll be put into such a situation. You believe in something. You want something. And that maybe that thing is haqq, it is true. But you will make a mistake. Why? Because you will go to seek assistance from somebody who has ill intentions towards you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is able to facilitate whatever you need through mu'mineen, through believers. So do not humiliate yourself by putting yourself in such a situation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept, according to certain narrations, Allah has not given a mu'min the right to humiliate himself in front of those people who would like to disgrace him. Sayyidah Khadija salamullahi alayha, she was able to preserve the path of the prophets and the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alim. Allahumma salli ala. And one thing that we can learn from her is this that I just mentioned, to always be ready to sacrifice. My dear Mu'mineen, with this path that Sayyidah Khadija salamullahi alayha, she walked on. Do you know that this princess of Arabia, she came at a point that she would not find anything to eat during the years of the mountain passes of Abu Talib salamullahi alayhi. She would eat those leftovers that were left. She would remain awake, sometimes taking care of the Holy Prophet, watching out for him, because there were a lot of threats on the life of the Holy Prophet. Imagine a noble woman standing by the side of a husband in such a place in order to protect him. At that, Sayyidah Khadija salamullahi alayha, because of the fact that all of the Muslims, they were boycotted, so she would go sometimes to Mecca, a long distance, in order to buy food for the Muslims at the biggest of prices, spending all her wealth in order to bring food for the Holy Prophet, food for Sayyidah Zahra salamullahi alayha, who was a child during that time. To the extent that when Sayyidah Khadija, she could not bear, her body could not bear that anymore. She became sick. And that year that the Holy Prophet lost Abu Talib salamullahi alayhi, and he lost her, he said that this is Amul Huzn, because my back is broken, I do not have any support remaining with me anymore. Khadija alayha salam, she was always with me. At that, when Sayyidah Khadija, she became sick, she started to give her will to the Holy Prophet. She tells him, "O Prophet, I want to ask you, I want to give you my wasiyah. O Prophet, I have always had shortcomings in with regards to your right. O Prophet, please forgive me." The Holy Prophet tells her that, "Oh Khadija, you have always assisted me and supported me with everything. May Allah Azza wa Jal forgive you. You have not had any shortcomings." And then she gives him her main wasiyah. Oh mu'mineen, I ask you, do you know what that wasiyah was? Do you know who that wasiyah was? She tells him, "O Prophet, Ya Rasul Allah, I ask you to take care of this daughter of mine who will become an orphan and a stranger amongst her own clan. I ask you, O Prophet, to make sure that none of the women of Quraysh ever hurt her, that nobody screams at her and nobody slaps her." The Arbab al-Maqatil, they say that Sayyidah Khadija alayha salam, she gave a gift to Sayyidah Zahra. They were two earrings. She gave two earrings to Sayyidah Zahra, and she told them, "Oh my daughter, wear these and remember me always." As Sayyidah Zahra alayhi salam, she put them on and she never took them off. Do you know which time those earrings flew out of the ears of Sayyidah Zahra? Sayyidah Khadija alayhi salam, then she turns towards the Holy Prophet and she tells him, "Oh Rasulullah, I am afraid of the grave. Please cover me with your rida." She then turns towards the Zara. Sayyidah Zara was weeping, so she wipes her tears and she rubs her head. What would the daughter tell her mother during this time? The words of the heart, the dialogue of the heart. "Oh mother, at this young age you leave me an orphan. Oh, precious mother who will wipe my tears after you. Oh, mother who will wipe my head after you. Oh, mother, my home will become empty and soulless after you. Please come back to me. There was another bidding farewell that Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam also had that was similar. This was when Zainab salamullahi alayha was bidding farewell to her mother. And she was approximately the same age as her own mother. And what were the words of the heart of Zainab? Oh mother, oh Fatima, oh pure one. After you we have become orphans. You are my loving mother. Take me with you. Oh mother, who will gather us after you and embrace me and Husayn? Listen to this musibah. When the Holy Prophet, he was in Shi'ab Abi Talib, those mountain passes. The Holy Prophet, after preparing Khadija salamullahi alayha, he turned and he brought the coffin, but the coffin was short. The Holy Prophet started to weep and he turned towards Allah. He said, Oh Allah, I am your Prophet, but I do not have coffin for my wife. At that, Jibreel salamullahi alayhi comes to the Holy Prophet carrying 5 coffins. And he tells him, Oh Prophet, this coffin is for Khadija. At that, the Holy Prophet asks him, What are these other 4 for? Who are they for? The Jibreel says, One is for you, one is for Al-Hasan, one is for Amir al-Mu'mineen. But then he asked him that, Oh Jibreel, what about Husayn salamullahi alayhi? Does Husayn not have a coffin? Jibreel tells him, Oh Prophet, Ya Rasul Allah, Husayn will be killed in Karbala, and there is no coffin to cover him. And upon that, the horses of Bani Umayyah will trample on his chest and his body. Ya Hussein, O wounded one whose chest the horses trampled upon, O one whose face was covered with the blood of his neck, O Gharib, O Shaheed, O thirsty, O slaughtered, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. مات من حسين. يا حسين. زهراء